Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris. And today I got a little bit of a repotting video today. My Euphorbia cerrida, which is one of my own hybrids, is getting a little too big for its pot here. Now, I just replanted this back in the summer to put it in here. But as you can probably see here, there's little bitty offsets all down in there, like right down in there. See those little offsets? It's filling up rapidly with these little tiny offsets. And so what I'm going to do is try to repot it before it fills this pot too quickly. I'm going to give it a pot that has a little bit wider rim too. The only problem with this pot here is it's kind of constricted right here. So if this plant grows any larger, it'll be kind of hard to get out of the pot. And so I want to get it out of there so I don't damage the plant and make it easier to repot. And I'm going to put it in to a pot that's much wider as far as the whole opening goes, and it'll come out a lot easier. This is one of my homespun pots here that I made out of a piece of dinnerware. I like to use these quite a bit. A lot of times you can get a really nice pot for a lot cheaper than you'd have to pay like at a nursery or something like that. And then they come out to be some really nice pots. And I like that kind of red lava color it's got on the inside, because the rock I'm going to be using is going to be lava rock, and it'll kind of match that up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is get this one out of its pot. I'll have to be kind of gentle. Remember, Euphorbias tend to bleed quite a bit. So I've just got to kind of knock some of this old top dressing out and be real careful. More than likely I'm going to see some bleeding in this, just because that's the way it goes with repotted Euphorbias. You're always going to get some. And so I'll have to be careful to wash my hands afterwards. I always tell people when I do these repotting videos on Euphorbias, remember to wash your hands, because I'm telling you what, you don't want this in your eyes. Now, getting some of this rock out of here, I can see a whole bunch more rhizomes and stuff underneath here. This plant really grows by rhizomes quite a bit. It's kind of like its mother, the ceriformis that this came from, has a habit of kind of putting off offshoots like that, but not in such profusion. This one really puts them out in profusion. Try to get this out here. I may have to use a little bit of a knife to kind of loosen this up, or maybe just this. I'll use the name tag to just carefully loosen this. Yeah, there's just offsets everywhere in here. So try to be as careful as possible not to damage anything. I think I might have got one already. Let me see here. Yep, it's already starting to bleed a little bit, so we'll have to be careful. There we go. There we are. Alright. Knock some of this off here. That old soil. It's got really good roots on it. Get a little piece of screen from the bottom there. And probably going to have to hurt a couple of roots here. They kind of rooted into that screen. Oh, there we go. Now you can see here all these little rhizomes that are coming out on this plant. Look at that. They're just everywhere in the plant. One there. And I'll try to make sure these get out to the sunlight and all. And you see how that grows. Look how these long rhizomes grow to produce these offsets. This is kind of a different trait from actually both parents, because this is a hybrid between ceriformis and horrida. Ceriformis being the mother. But very healthy plant. I'm going to have to nick that off. Let's see here. I'm going to get a little knife and cut that off. make it kind of a clean cut. We don't want anything stripped off the way it was. Alright, so now that we got it out and everything, we'll go ahead and repot this in its new pot. I'll get some soil here. A little bit of the old soil in there. This old soil probably isn't really bad because it's not been in there very long. But I'll get some new soil in on that. So my cactus mix I've got stored away here. Alright, let me see here. I'm going to try to spread these roots out as much as possible. Yeah, pretty well got it on the mound there. Try to keep some of these little rhizomes, if I can, sticking up before I get all the soil in there. One good thing about these pots when they're glazed on the inside like this is the fact that they'll come out real easy when you go to transplant them. And that was a good thing about the pot I used. It was kind of stuffed in there a bit, but it came out pretty slick because it's glazed on the inside. Tap that in, kind of get it settled. Try to push it over a little bit, get it more centered. And then we're going to kind of stage this up too. I kind of like to stage my plants. I think it kind of makes it look like you cut out a piece of nature and put it in a little pot. Looking pretty good. I think I'm about ready to put my lava rock in. Alright, so all this gets tamped down here, and the rhizomes that are coming out will be able to find their way up. Give them a little helping hand there. And wrap that a couple times like that. That should settle that down. And I'm going to use this red lava rock I've got here. Well, it's kind of a red and purple, kind of a smoky color look. See that? And that's kind of like what I like to use for my top dressings most of the time. I've used other things, but I really like this lava rock. And just kind of settle this in around. I've got one that kind of popped into the middle of the plant here. Just kind of put that around. Make that look like it's kind of growing out of a lava bed there. It's all settled in here real careful, right? You gotta be careful I don't hurt any of those little offsets. I don't really want to mess them up. I want to make sure they have a good chance to grow. A little in the hole here. I think this lava rock looks really great with the color of the pot. Some of the finer stuff here. I crushed my own lava rock because I can't find it real fine anywhere around here, and it's really expensive to have it shipped. So I just tend to find the landscaping lava rock and crush it with a hammer. Put on some safety glasses and just crush away. Now we're going to kind of stage this. Now I don't want to get stuff too close to the plant because it does put off those little offsets and they're just coming up everywhere. So we'll try to be good about that. Gotta settle this in a little bit. Rock there. Kind of a cool little rock here. Found that just the other day. Put that in there. So you can see some of this. Actually, I had very minimal damage on this little Euphorbia. I'll have to spray it off with a little water here. When I get done. I forgot to have alcohol in this, so I don't want to spray it with that right now. It doesn't have any bugs or anything, so it looks good. And that should do it. Let's see if I can get that tag in there a little bit better than that. Might even cut that tag down. It's kind of tall. Let's see if I can cut that down a little bit. Like so. Stick that in there. That looks good. Little pieces there, kind of settle down into a hole there. Okay, I think we've got this. And there it is, folks. Euphorbia cerrida. By the way, this is a one-of-a-kind plant. There's no others of this. Originally, when I found this plant, it was growing in with the mother. Right there. I was growing right in with the pot with it. It stayed there for probably a couple months and just didn't really look very good. So what I did is I took it out, and it's been raised in the house most of the time. It's spent probably 90% of its life underneath lights. Now as far as staging goes, for me, I like to stage my plants because of the fact, like I said, it looks like a little piece of nature just cut right out and put in a little pot. Now, this is not necessary. Staging is not a necessary thing, but it does add to the effect of the whole display. Now, I've used these little limestone rocks that we find around here in the Ozarks quite a bit. They're full of quartz crystals and stuff a lot of times. I go for these little holy ones. A lot of times little holes and stuff like that, they'll be filled with little crystals and such also. But you can have a plant and put it in a plastic pot and not put any top dressing around it or any rocks or any kind of staging, and probably just fine. Probably grow just fine. Now, I like to put the top dressing on for a reason. My reason is that the fact that it won't let the soil get all washed up around the plant and everything. Also, the soil can kind of get compacted when you're watering it all the time just on top of the soil. This helps keep the soil nice and loose underneath. And as I say, the aesthetics of it is a lot nicer when you put some top dressing. And here. I just really like the effect of staging a plant. With some nice rocks, some good top dressing, in a real nice pot. And none of this has to be expensive either. Like I said, I bought this for a few dollars at Walmart, I believe. And then drilled the hole in it with my Dremel. Made a nice big hole for drainage. And that's the thing too, you can kind of customize your pot and get the hole you want for drainage according to the plant you have. But I've had this little guy growing, I think, since 2018. Yeah, since June of 2018, I've had this. And maybe in the future I can start some of these little offsets when it grows out quite a bit and get some more of these going. Because this is the only one. This is the only ceriformis horrida hybrid that I know of. I've looked for this online to see if anybody else has done this. I have not been able to find one. That doesn't mean it hasn't been done. But of this particular crossing, there's only one, because I only had one seed come up. And I did this on purpose. I did hybridize this on purpose, but I didn't catch the seed soon enough, and it just fired off. And that's why it started growing next to the mother. It just kind of launched down in the soil below it, and it started growing by itself. But it just wasn't looking good. I don't think it would have made it if I'd left it in with the mother. But I really do like the staging effect of these plants. Yeah, a little bit of sap still going there. I think this is very pleasing to the eye when you stage a plant like this, and really it doesn't have to be expensive. Like I said, the pot was cheap. The lava rock isn't that expensive. It's a few bucks for a bag of lava rock. Crush it yourself. And the rocks, well, that's just going out and around and finding them, just picking them up. And these aren't hard to find. These ones with the holes in them like this, I notice they're at a certain elevation all the time. If I'm on roads or something like that or near creeks, a lot of times if they're on the roads, they're at a certain area. You're at a certain elevation. You just can't pick them up at any elevation on the road, it seems. Now in the creeks, a lot of these times these things wash down the creeks. You can find lots of them in the creeks and by the rivers. But anyway, I just wanted to show you the repotting of this little plant and staging. This is a cool little plant, one of a kind. Euphorbia cerrida. I want to wish you guys a Happy New Year's. Since I'm doing this New Year's Day, this is my first video of the new year on the first day of the year. This is Clyde Morris from Morris Park. I want to thank everybody for supporting my channel. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you watching and viewing and commenting. Please send me your comments. I appreciate it. I'd love to answer any questions. Take care, folks. Have a Happy New Year.